On this week's Waypoint, we look forward to patch 4.7, take a peek at the PBE, and talk about All-Stars, which is finally almost here. What's up guys, and welcome to Waypoint, your weekly League of Legends recap for May 1st, 2014. I'm your host, Lindsay Geektron. Let's kick things off with a look forward at some of Riot's plans for patch 4.7. Gragas has had a rough time since his rework, and minor buffs he's received since haven't helped him transition into the fighter bruiser that Riot wants him to be, for some reason. Still not entirely sure why they want that. But anyway, we can expect more utility from Gragas in 4.7, allowing him to be more disruptive in team fights. Riot also hope to make the rabble-rouser more relevant in the early game with their next set of changes. Kassadin was almost unanimously dropped after his rework, but after a few changes, he's starting to see play again. The shield on his Q gives him a substantial amount of harass and sustain in lane, while he builds up the mana items he needs. Riot haven't revealed any further changes yet, but they are keeping an eye on the damage shield combo to make sure it's not a pain to play against with no counterplay. The Balance team have assured the community that if he starts getting picked in ranked games, they'll just nerf him again. Yep, that's Kassadin. You know, it's just a joke, but it really highlights how problematic of a champion he is to balance. Skarner, that's the Scorpion champion that nobody ever picks, is still being worked on. Riot feels that stickiness is a significant part of his, quote, character fantasy. Look, don't look at me that way, that's Riot's words, not mine. Looking at the top lane, diversity is what Riot wants when it comes to champion picks. Renekton has been at the top for a long time, and tanky champions like Shyvana and Mundo are the other usual suspects. Recently, Jax and Ryze have made a major comeback, as well as Lee Sin. I also think Rumble, after his 4.6 buffs, is really gonna shake things up. Riot will continue to try and push champions back to the top lane spotlight going forward, with Jarvan and Malphite being up next. Teleport ults incoming! Bot lane. Yay! No. In the jungle, damage-oriented junglers have been kicking ass recently, often out-farming, out-leveling, and out-damaging their laning teammates. Riot are exploring adjusting the gold and experience junglers earn, as well as taking a look at Spirit Stone, which they think might too heavily favor damage-focused junglers. Let's be honest here, damage junglers are all that matter right now. How often do you see champs like Zac, Nautilus, and Maokai anymore? I mean, I don't mind carry junglers, but there should be other ways to do well in the jungle. Speaking of damage-oriented junglers, let's talk about Kha'Zix. He's almost as problematic to balance as Kassadin. He's a mobile assassin with stealth and massive damage reduction on his ultimate, and he has been showing no mercy in the competitive scene recently. Riot are looking into changes that would make him a little more vulnerable to counterattacks, particularly while he's using his ultimate. I'm a little salty, okay? Soraka is on the watch list for her dominance in the mid lane at the moment. She's an extremely linear champion in terms of design. She wave clears easily with a spammable ability and heals up any harass she takes, and frankly, she's pretty dull. She's also incredibly strong at the moment, especially in a heal-centric and defense team comp. However, Riot are aware that her rise to dominance may have to do with the recent changes to the game, such as the summoner heal buffs. I would agree with that, but we shouldn't forget this isn't the first time Soraka has taken over the mid lane, or the first time she's been nerfed for it. LeBlanc is also on the watch list as a highly mobile assassin, just like Kassadin and Kha'Zix. Are you guys starting to see a pattern here? Cause I am. I'm sure we've all been one-shot by a LeBlanc, and she's not exactly super fun to play against. She comes in, she does her burst, and she gets out. There's very little counterplay there, and that's something I'd like to see changed. On the other hand, LeBlanc was ignored for a long time for having a non-existent late game, and I personally don't want to see her disappear again. Next up, there are some pretty interesting changes on the public beta environment. Needless to say, none of this is set in stone yet. We've got a good while before 4.7 hits live servers. Everyone's favorite vampire, Vladimir, is getting a minor buff on his Sanguine pool. He'll now heal for a whopping 2.5% more of the damage he deals while in his pool. It's a minor change, but it might be the start of something more to bring him up to par with the current top laners. If Vlad can reach late game, he's still a total monster. Changes to Feral Flare could turn out to be a much bigger deal, with the item's attack damage and speed nerfed, and the item's unique passive, Maim, dealing significantly less damage. This is clearly in response to the rise of damage-focused junglers we talked about earlier, with many of them using Feral Flare to farm the jungle heavily before taking over a game. It's a really strange item because it promotes a passive farming playstyle, so I'm glad to see it nerfed, but if these changes go through, giving up mad pressure to farm it might not even be worth it. Nautilus also saw a minor buff to his passive, letting him trigger his auto attack route on the same champion slightly more. Again, like Vladimir's change, by itself this isn't a huge deal. It's a nice change, but Nautilus won't make a comeback without significant jungle changes, though the Feral Flare nerf will help. Heal will no longer remove healing reduction debuffs on affected champions. Now, this is a strange one. Obviously, none of us, including Riot, want to see 4 to 6 heals per game again. They've already hit its usefulness in teamfights by making it less effective on recently healed targets, so multiple heals are less attractive. One of the major uses for heal was removing Ignite though. I'm really surprised they would consider changing that. I was expecting nerfs or even the removal of the random movement speed on heal, and still, none of this is set in stone yet, so we'll see what happens. The schedule for the All-Stars event in Paris has been announced and the teams have been selected. The event will kick off in Paris, France at La Zenith Arena on May 8th with Team Ice versus Team Fire. Who? Those are the teams we voted for. Team Ice will consist of Doublelift, Froggen, Madlife, Calmay, and Archie, while Team Fire will be Bjergsen, Diamond, Shy, QTV, and WX. The teams will compete in 4 events ranging from Ultra Rapid Fire Mode to Hexakill, while they'll be joined by Messiah and Toys, respectively. Right now, the community is picking the 10 champions a team will play in the 3rd event, and a final event is yet to be revealed. Personally, I'm kind of hoping for a standard game, because it would be really cool to see what these players would do in a normal setting, right? Of course, the real focus of All-Stars will be the top teams from each region competing to be number 1 in a round-robin tournament. Fnatic, SK, Telecom, T1K, OMG, Azubu Taipei Assassins, and Cloud9 should make for an awesome tournament and are rare showings of international competition. Unfortunately, the sad news this week is that North America's top team, Cloud9, won't be at its full strength for the tournament. Cloud9's all-star mid laner High is currently in the hospital due to a spontaneous collapsed lung. Now, as serious as that sounds, he's not in critical condition and is expected to make a full recovery. It just means that he can't fly out for the foreseeable future. Our thoughts are with High right now. Obviously his health is way more important than All-Stars. He seems to be in good spirits though, and to prove he's not dying, he's been streaming from his hospital bed. What a trooper! Get well soon, High. And that does it for this week's episode of Waypoint. Be sure to check back every Thursday for the latest League of Legends news. If you enjoyed this video, please like and comment below and help us reach more people. And if you want more League of Legends content, recaps, and updates, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, LolNationTV. I'm Lindsay Geektron. You can follow me on Twitter at LindsayGeektron. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys at the next Waypoint.
Game Breaker TV.